Hello again, Keith Bond here from Bond Christian Counseling. Today I want to talk a little bit about fear and about one of the primary ways that we've learned how to survive and protect ourselves through judgment. Um, so the first thing I want to show you is that there's an old ancient Chinese parable about a farmer who has this series of events and the town like pointing or guiding him through what they think through their filters is good or bad. So this starts by saying the farmer had a very beautiful white horse and then it ran away and the whole town said, well, that's bad luck. But the farmer said, well, why, maybe, but who is to say? Uh, the next day, the horse returned, and he brought with him five other wild horses. And then the town said, well, that's good luck. And the farmer said, well, maybe, who's to say? The next day after that, the farmer's son tried to ride one of those wild horses, and then he broke his leg. And the town said, well, that's bad luck. And the farmer again said, maybe, but who is to say? And the next day after that, the military officials came to draft young men in that area into the army for the war. And then they saw that that son's leg was broken, so they passed him by. And again, the town said, well, that's good luck. And the farmer said, maybe, who's to say? So this farmer has an accurate perspective of his awareness and unawareness of all of the events and the inner workings behind him. So when we have a good decision, our brain tends to think that was a good decision because I like the outcome. Um, and by the way, our brain itself is doing its job. It is there to predict outcomes. Since we're not afraid of the unknown, uh, we are actually afraid of a reoccurrence of something. And so our brain formulates that was a good decision because I like the outcome. And that was a bad decision because I don't like the outcome. But the truth is, as humans, we only have number one, the process itself of the decision making. And then number two, the actual decision itself. But the results are always up to God. And we take our place. And I want you to notice this the desires of the flesh, which are to survive, is to judge for the purpose of exclusion. And so, what I mean by that is if I feel fear of a reoccurrence of something, usually a reoccurrence of an abandonment, an emotional or relational separation and injury, where I feel hurt and sad and lonely, but I don't know how to process those feelings, then I'm going to, the next time that event is the possibility, then I'm going to judge others. But the reason I do that, my motive is that I have a legitimate need for protection. And since God, in my opinion, failed me last time by allowing me to go through that valley of the shadow of death, then I can't depend on him. I don't trust him relationally. And so I learned to judge others and keep them away from me. But notice that is a proactive move where I have a legitimate need for protection. So I'll just protect myself. And then I end up bypassing God. So I don't take my fear to Him. I just react from a place of physiological reactivity or anxiety. And then I just protect myself and I judge people. So the the next in the desires of the spirit is to live fully and to judge for the purpose of inclusion. And so the Bible does tell us to judge, but notice its motivation for telling us why to judge is for the purpose of inclusion, never for the purpose of exclusion. It's a judgment in a confrontation, as in both of our fronts are facing the same direction. And I say, I feel blank, hurt, sad, lonely when you do a behavior of blank. But I'm not saying that that's who you are. I'm saying that's a behavior that you do. See how I'm telling my truth of my insides, sad, hurt, lonely, fear of a reoccurrence of that. But I'm doing it without attacking, without blaming or shaming, or without making the other person responsible for me or for my feelings. So there's a verse in the scriptures about Jesus he's railing on the Pharisees, and he says, "Woe to you, Pharisees! Woe to you, lawyers!" And and over again, he's really hammering them. But then at the end of that, he says, "Do you know how often I've wanted to gather you together as a hen gathers her chicks?" He's saying, I am lonely for you. I'm judging you for the purpose of inclusion because I want to be with you, but you were not willing. And that verse ends, see, your house has left you desolate. Your house can leave you desolate if you take the improper position of being or playing God and judging others for the purpose of exclusion. So we do it all the time. I still do it, react. And I have to invite the Holy Spirit to search my heart and search my mind, to examine my motives, help me, to guide me, because that Jeremiah 17:9 verse is true. The heart is deceitfully wicked above all things. Who can understand it? Because that's the desires of the flesh to survive. I hope this has blessed you, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.